Chapter 5. The car started right up. The engine hummed. Dad lowered his foot on the gas pedal. The hum became a steady roar. "Sounds good," Dad said. "Very clean." He grabbed the gear shift in his right hand and eased it into reverse. The car rolled out of the garage and down the gravel driveway. I could see Mr. Douglas watching us from his front window. He gazed out at us with his hands in his pockets, standing still as a statue. Dad shifted into drive, and we drove off. He turned at the corner, sped up, slowed down again, testing the brakes, then made a sharp right turn. "It handles wonderfully," he commented. "This car practically drives itself." "Let's buy it!" I cried. "Whoa, slow down," Dad laughed. "A car is a very important purchase, Mitchell," he scolded. "You don't just buy the first car you look at. Besides, I'm sure we can't afford this car. Mr. Douglas probably wants $20,000 or $30,000 for it." "But the ad in the newspaper said," I started. "That doesn't mean anything," Dad replied. "This is a real luxury car, Mitchell. You know cars better than I do. You know a car like this is way beyond our budget." I ran my hand over the smooth seat. "It sure is awesome," I muttered. Dad turned on the radio. Music surrounded us from 4 speakers. He tested the turn signal, then the lights, then the heater and air conditioner. "Everything is perfect," he said, turning back onto Wilborn. "Wonder why Mr. Douglas wants to sell such a terrific car. Wonder why he wouldn't come with us," I added. Dad eased the car up the gravel driveway. He stopped at the side of the house and turned off the engine. "Just ask about the price," I urged. "It doesn't hurt to ask, right?" Dad sighed. "I guess. But don't get your hopes up, Mitchell. This car is way beyond what I can afford." I pushed open the car door, climbed out, and nearly bumped into Mr. Douglas. "Oh, sorry," I murmured. He gazed at me with those pale bluebird eyes, but didn't say anything. He pulled a white handkerchief from his back pocket and mopped his forehead. "Why is he sweating?" I wondered. "It's cold out today. I can see my breath." "You're back," he said finally, studying Dad. "Why does he appear so relieved to see us?" I asked myself. "Didn't he think we were coming back?" "Nice car," Dad said, patting the shiny blue roof. "Handles really well." Mr. Douglas nodded. "You liked it? Good family car, right? Does your wife drive?" "Yes," Dad replied. "I think I can drive in 4 years," I interrupted. "If I take driver's ed in school, I already know how. Dad let me take the wheel once when we were out in the desert in Arizona." I expected Mr. Douglas to smile at that, but to my surprise, his chin quivered, and I saw tears form in his eyes. He turned away and blew his nose into the handkerchief. "Must be getting a cold," he muttered. "Well, I like the car," Dad said, scratching his thick black hair, "but we're looking for something a little less—" "I'll give you a really good price," Mr. Douglas interrupted. He narrowed his eyes at the car and set his jaw in a cold scowl. "I really have to get rid of it." His expression sent a chill down my spine. Dad backed away from the car, shaking his head. "I don't think— Would 5,000 be too much?" Mr. Douglas asked. Dad swallowed hard. 5,000? You mean as a down payment?" "No, 5,000 total," Mr. Douglas replied. "It's a used car, even though it's in perfect shape. I know I can't get full price for it. I'll send it to you for 5,000. "Dad," I whispered, tugging his sleeve, "do it." I wanted to cheer at the top of my lungs, pump my fists over my head, leap into the air. Somehow I managed to stay on the ground. "Well," Dad rubbed his chin as if he was thinking it over, but I could see his eyes flashing excitedly. I knew he was going to say yes. "Are you sure there isn't anything wrong with it, Mr. Douglas?" "Wrong with it?" Mr. Douglas tilted his head thoughtfully. "No, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all." But then his eyes clouded over, and his face darkened as if a shadow had fallen over it. "But if you buy it," he said softly, "I have to ask you to do one thing." "One thing?" Dad asked. "What is it?"